Alright, so, oh, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, what a show, what a ride. I'm 25 now. I started watching that show when I was 22 and I had just broken up with my boyfriend and I was feeling heartbroken and devastated, and honestly that show was my emotional crutch for the first year ever. But yeah, no, it was a hilarious show and it definitely did make me feel a lot better as I was feeling devastated. But then cut to now, and it's become much more than that. It just the way it was so open about talking about mental health was a really big deal for me, because like being someone who has gone through that in the past before, it was really interesting to see like where it could have gone and the different ways that they were coping with it, as well as with the added music and hilarity. It was just a very good balance of things, which I really loved, because you also don't want something super serious that's gonna just leave you in a downer. You also want something that's gonna also like pick you back up. So that's what I really enjoyed about the show. And there was a really serious moment, I think, in this past season with Dr. Akopian, where Rebecca is afraid of accepting Nathaniel's love for her, his declaration and commitment towards her, because she's afraid that it's going to turn out the same way with Josh. In a way, she's afraid that she is going to feel a certain way and possibly go down the route of being suicidal again. And personally, that's something I've also felt myself, not in terms of the romantic sense, but just in a general sense, because I used to be severely depressed and anxious in high school and the beginning of college, and I used to be suicidal, and thankfully I did get help. I did go to therapy and I learned how to deal with those emotions, and I haven't felt that way in a very long time. But that's not to say that every now and then, if something negative happens in my life, I kind of freak myself out in a weird way, because I feel bad, but at the same time I'm afraid of feeling negative, because I'm afraid that I'm going to feel suicidal again at some point. You don't want to go back down that path again of relapse, if you will. And I definitely, it struck a chord within me when Dr. Akopian tells Rebecca that it's okay to feel that fear, and that, to be honest, that fear is always going to be there, but to also recognize where you're doing well, and that just because you have that fear doesn't mean you should hold back on feeling happy, because we all deserve to be happy. And in this case, Rebecca deserved to love Nathaniel and be loved in return, regardless of that fear, because she knows that she's slowly getting better now. And so that definitely was a really important moment in the show for me personally. So I'm really excited to see where this last season goes, and like where she goes with Nathaniel, and also taking responsibility for her actions. I think that was also really good ending to the last season. So let's see what happens in October. Woo!